Welcome back to Books with Beck. I'm Beck. Let's talk books. This week we are reading Strangers' Recommendations. So I am extremely nervous for this video because I am actually very, very shy, especially with strangers. So I'm going to go to a bookstore, probably just a Barnes & Noble, and stand in different genre sections and ask people for their book recommendations. I'm thinking if I can get 4 book recommendations, that will set me up for the week of reading. I think I'm going to stick with women in my age range. If I see someone that I think maybe I'd like the same books as them, I'll probably ask them. And, who knows how busy the bookstore will be. I've got to take what I can get. But I want to make sure that I'm still getting stuff that I will actually read. All right, so I walked around to see if I could scope anyone out, and there's no one here. It is 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, so this is peak book shopping hours. I don't know where everyone is, but I guess I'm just going to scope around, see if I can get one person here, and then we may have to go to another bookstore. So I'm asking strangers book recommendations. Will you tell me your favorite book?
I think my favorite book is the Harry Potter series. Honestly,
Okay.
I love fantasy, and anything magical really gets to me, and it reminds me of childhood. So.
Okay. Any other recommendations?
Well, I've heard really good things about this book. It's called The Spellshop,
Yes.
and it's kind of about this witch who moves to a small town, and she gets a cottage, and she helps people in the area with potions and spells.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, this is definitely harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm shaking from talking to her, but she was super sweet and great recommendations. Now I'm obviously I'm already reading The Spell Shop, so I guess I could technically count as a stranger's recommendation. And then she also recommended Harry Potter, which I am currently reading right now. So somehow we are just lined up. Anything that you can recommend that is fiction, honestly. I'm pretty flexible, just fiction.
Any fiction.
Any fiction.
Any fiction. That's very broad.
I'm very broad. You can give me your favorite book.
I mean, I can give you my favorite dark romance, which I'm obsessed with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Madison Kate series by Tate James. The first one's called Hate.
Hate.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This video is going to be the death of me. I'm literally shaking. I am actually so shy, and this is going to kill me. So in this bookstore, I did 2 recommendations. I got one from a shopper and one from a worker. So I'm going to try and go to a different bookstore and see if I can get a few more recommendations. I may keep bouncing because I am so awkward and I absolutely do not want to look at people after I've done this. I'm please, I'm so embarrassed. I think this concept is great. However, I am just please don't look at me. I hope they don't think about me later today and say, how annoying was that girl? Hopefully they were like, oh, that was cute. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Nothing like a good dose of rejection to, make you want to die. Love it here. Just asked a girl and I was like, as soon as I asked her, I was like, oh, this was a bad idea. She was not happy to talk to me, did not want to do it. It was kind of mean, but it's okay. I'm just going to go cry in my car and go find another bookstore. Okay, let me be real honest. I did not think this was going to take that long to get 4 book recommendations. But honestly, I keep getting no's, which is fine. But I'm running out of bookstores, honestly. So I'm kind of trying to bounce around and just find anyone who's willing to give me a book recommendation. All right, we're going to go give Target a try because I drove the 15 minutes to get to this Barnes & Noble, and there's not another bookstore anywhere close by. So we're going to go into this Target that's right here and hope that I find some people that are willing to be nice. This Target, I feel like, has a relatively good book section, so hopefully there's some people over there. Okay, tell me about your book recommendation.
Okay, so this is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. John Green is one of my favorite authors, and this is kind of like a mystery book, and it's one of my favorites. So this is Some Things I Can't Tell You by Misha Collins. So he's an actor, an artist, and this is his poetry book, and it is some of the most emotional poetry that I've ever read, and it's amazing. It's a must read.
Yay, thank you. All right, we have 4 books to read through this week from our Strangers Book recommendations. So we started off with The Spell Shop as our first recommendation. I'm kind of cheating with this because I already started reading it, but oh well. I wasn't going to ask anyone else because people were mean. So we're starting with the Spell Shop. After that, we have Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. And then next we have our poetry book, which I am kind of excited to read since I have really not touched poetry since high school. Last thing that we have is the dark romance Hate. This is the first one in the series. So if we enjoy it, then I can go ahead and read through that series. I do think that my best friend has read this book, so I'm definitely gonna have to ask her opinion on it. Like I said, I am sort of cheating with Spell Shop. I am already 30% of the way through the Spell Shop, and I've just been busy, so I kind of put it down and haven't been reading it. However, it's really, really good. So I'm thinking if I sit down today and I really get focused and I get comfortable and get a snack and everything, I can burn through this book today. We start out in a major city, and the city is having some political downfall, and suddenly a rebellion starts. And so she is working as a librarian. So she loads up as many of the important books and spell books that she can, and she gets into a boat and she rides away. So she has a plant that is her best friend. She escapes and heads to the small little island that she grew up on. And of course, as she gets there, she runs into a handsome stranger, and she begins, trying to set up a spell shop that sells jam, and, is trying to use some of the spells to help her. And it sounds like, from where I'm at right now, it sounds like she's going to be able to save the island, because they're in a lot of turmoil right now because the magic has basically been outlawed. And magic is really how they survived to begin with. It's how all of their crops grew. It was how the fish were plentiful in the water. It was how all of their livestock was healthy. So without it, they're really struggling. So I'm thinking that she is going to sell the spells that she does have to try and help the island, become more bountiful. However, I'm really thinking that there's going to be a big ending scene, because what she's doing is breaking the law. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a lot of chaos to come with that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and see how far I can get in the Spell Shop. I think it's hilarious that the way that I'm getting serious and really sitting down to read is I bust this out. I'm like, if this comes out, cancel the plans. We're staying home. Am I stupid? Love you, lots like jelly tots. Bye. Honestly, with them gone, I have absolutely no excuse not to get this book done. So I really have to focus. Ooh, you know what? I have some sparkling waters from forever ago tucked away back in this fridge that my friend gave me. I'm about to try it. This one, the coconut pineapple, smells really... I've lost my mind. Sounds really good. What else can I put in this organizer? I'm trying to think of what other snack I want. I am thinking that I might do a little leftover Halloween candy. Someone needs to take this stuff out of my house because I continue to eat it and it's a problem. It really is a problem. I think I just found the perfect reading ambiance for this book. Are you kidding? I'm about to crush this. I'm about to crush this. Oh my gosh. I finally finished the Spell Shop. If you have been following me along at all, you know that I've been reading this book for a couple weeks now. This was the first book to be added to my fall TBR, and I was reading it, and I do really enjoy it, but I just kept putting it down because I was busy with other things, and it just wasn't happening. I wasn't getting the time to sit down and read. So yesterday, I really got to sit down and just read, and it was so wonderful. I loved this book so much. I'm rating this book 4.5 stars. It was not perfect to me. It was very predictable and cheesy, which honestly to me does not discount it very much, but it just is not 5 stars. It was 4.5. It was so incredibly cozy. I love the world. I love the characters.
even though the female main character like did annoy me at the very beginning of the book, she definitely grew on me. Just the whole world was amazing. I would really love a whole series within this world. I really enjoyed the concept of the magic storms, and when the magic was unbalanced, the storms would occur, and I loved the flying cats. I thought those were absolutely adorable. Overall, yeah, this book really made me want to scroll off to an island, start a garden, and open myself a little shop. It was just so cozy. It did make getting up in the mornings harder because I was like, I have to go to work and I don't work at a little jam shop on an island. That's kind of sad. This is the closest I've gotten to the Secret Society of Irregular Witches since I've read that, just to where it was just fun, you know? Sometimes you need a book that is just fun. Burke is like desperate to be in this video, so I apologize. He's just clingy today. I did actually get to finally start Turtles All the Way Down, and I chose to listen to this book. I heard someone say that the audiobook was good, so that's what I chose to go with. And I'm really glad that I did, because the way that John Green is describing the panic attacks of this character is so accurate to what I experience whenever I have a panic attack. And what is happening? Why are all these animals on top of me right now? What do you guys need? This is crazy. This is crazy. Hold on. Okay. So, I do not have OCD, and this main character does. So I cannot relate to that. But the anxiety that is present is very, very relatable for me. And it's really nice to see someone put it on paper. And that's why I'm glad I listened to the audiobook, is because I'm really getting to listen to her inner monologue and kind of like hear her thinking as it's happening. You know, this narrator did a great job. I am excited because this book is a movie or a TV show. I'm not sure, but it does have a film adaptation, and I'm excited to watch it. This storyline itself is not particularly unique or extraordinary. It seems pretty basic, but because of this inner monologue, the book itself is so amazing. Like, John Green is definitely an amazing author. I've never read anything by him before because I always kind of just figured maybe he was overrated. Doesn't seem like that's the case. So I'm definitely going to give him a few more shots because I've been impressed so far. I'm really glad I got this recommendation, and this is definitely something I never would have picked up for myself. So this is the reason why this challenge is so great. It's because, you know, it's getting you out of your comfort zone. I did go ahead and start reading Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. And this is actually the first John Green book I've ever read, surprisingly. I think for me, I always just thought he was overrated, so I never really gave him a chance. And that definitely is going to change because I've been enjoying this book a lot. By no means is this story some insane plot line that is super creative, whatever. No, this is not a very original storyline. It's pretty basic. But honestly, what is so great about this book is the inner monologue and the dialogue of the main character. This main character has anxiety and OCD, and you get to hear a lot of her thoughts as she's having panic attacks and as she's having OCD kind of episodes. So that is a really interesting thing to read because I've never read about a character with OCD. So it's kind of, you know, a new thing that I'm getting to experience with the character. I do have anxiety though, so getting to kind of see my own experiences put onto paper is really, really nice. And it, you know, kind of helps me to understand myself a little bit more as well. So I am really enjoying that aspect of the story. In this story, the main character develops a crush from early childhood friendship. And that same crush, years later, his father goes missing mysteriously. And his father is a billionaire. So obviously it's a very high stakes case, and the police are looking into it. There's some suspicion going on that maybe he made himself go missing, which is personally what I think. I think that he is just trying to get away from his problems and some criminal issues. So the main character begins investigating where this man went, and when doing so, she runs into her crush and they begin seeing each other. So throughout the book, we're getting to see her investigating the dad who is missing, getting to see her basically start dating this, you know, first boyfriend of hers in high school. And we're also getting to see the relationship with her and her best friend. which I actually really do enjoy that dynamic of her and the best friend as well. Majority of the story is focused on her mental health and, seeing her therapist and kind of evaluating those things that are going on inside her head. And it is really, really interesting. So by no means do I think this is going to be a 5-star read from where I'm at right now, but that could change. However, I'm still really enjoying it. I have about an hour left, so I'm going to go ahead and finish it up real quick, and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, my husband is asleep, so I'm going to try to be really quiet. I immediately finished that book and had to watch the movie, and I love it even more now after watching the movie. I did not want this to be a 5-star book for me. Like, looking at writing quality and the story quality itself, it is not 5 stars. But I think for me personally, I have to rate this book 5 stars because this answered questions that were in my brain about my own self. And I'm going to go have an existential crisis and try to get some sleep. That's the best way I can put it. This explained so much of my own thinking and gave me some peace. So I don't think it gets more 5 stars than that. Turtles All the Way Down, 5 stars. Crying all night, 0 stars. But thank you to the girl that recommended this because, yes, just yes. Just yes. I am going to go and try to read the poetry book. It may have to wait till tomorrow because I'm very, very emotional right now. But I'm going to go try and see if I can get through it. I do not think I'm going to get done with the dark romance, though, let's be honest. So I'm going to go read the poetry book and try to go to bed tonight after crying for like 2 hours straight. So we'll see what I can get done. Okay. I do not know if that audio last night was as poor quality as I felt like it was, but I did end up rating Turtles All the Way Down 5 stars, and that was really unexpected for me. So I'm really happy with how the ending of that story turned out, and I was able to connect with the character so much. So I am so grateful for that recommendation. This same girl who recommended Turtles All the Way Down did recommend the poetry book, and after watching the movie last night for Turtles All the Way Down, I immediately ran and finished my poetry book. This was definitely my favorite poem from this collection. There are parts of your body that I replay in my mind like a scratch on a vinyl record. The needle of my memory returning again and again to the same part of you. So for me personally, I can definitely say I'm more of a prose girl, but it was really nice to get back into poetry after not reading it in so many years. Obviously I read it with my students, but to really read it independently was kind of, exciting since I haven't done it since high school. There were a lot of poems in here that I did find really beautiful and I was able to resonate with them, especially the love poem section. I think that I'm going to give this book another try outside of this challenge, simply for the fact that reading it straight through, I don't think that I'm going to be able to appreciate it as much if I were to take bits and pieces from it. So I think I'm going to read this again and read 1 to 2 poems each day and read it over, a few weeks. That way I can really appreciate each poem for what it is individually. I think that reading a poetry book straight through is just not for me. So I'm going to give it a second shot. However, for right now, this book is going to be rated 3 stars. I would say it's probably closer to 3.5, and that will probably change as I read it again. But yes, for right now, I'm rating it 3 stars. Okay, to wrap everything up, for this week, we did have 4 Strangers book recommendations, and I was able to get through 3 of them. So our first one, The Spellshop, I absolutely loved. I did cheat a little bit on that one because I was already reading it, but I'm really, really glad that I got that suggestion and I was able to finish it. Then we had Turtles All the Way Down, which probably will be one of my top 10 books of this year. So I'm really, really grateful for that suggestion. And then diving back into poetry for the first time in many, many years was also really exciting. The dark romance, I did not get to, sadly. I do think I'm going to keep it on my list, especially as it, is a series. I want to explore it and see if it's something I want to continue with. I think this challenge was really good for me as someone who's extremely socially awkward. It forced me to face rejection, which I think is good for me every now and then. Please let me know in the comments what you're reading now and what I should read next. I'll see you next time on Books with Ben. Love you, bye.
Book Husband here. Like and subscribe.